Alrighty guys, welcome back. I think we're alright. I think we're ready to go and all that stuff. Yeah, sorry about last night. It got ended abruptly as I suspected it would at some point. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm gonna say. So yeah, it's why I don't like streaming at night time. It's usually when my friends, I hear my friend around and yeah, it's usually when we normally it's around there, but today I'll have to contact her a lot earlier, so I'll go to contact her in a few hours. I'm not sure we'll get this done today. If we do good, if we don't, we'll just do it at the beginning of the Final Fantasy 2 one. What's going on with my person? Alright, either way, we're ready to go. So yeah, we still got a few things to do. I don't know if we can do more, but we'll try to do as much as we can. First, we've got to go here, somewhere here. Let's beat these two guys out. There it is. That's where we need to go, guys. We've got to go here, go to the cabin, buy something, and go back to a town. Alright. Welcome. Bottle, blah, blah, blah. Buy it. Thanks. Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Not really useful, but interesting. It's only temporary stuff, so I don't care. Oh, it's more permanent, yeah. Okay, now that we've done that, we can go to what next area is, which is the water area. Yeah, guys, we've done the majority of the running around, so don't really have much more running around to do other than the main game. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And it should be a town here. Yep, this is the town. Oh, this is not the right town. Okay, so it's not the right town, not the town I'm supposed to be in. God damn it. Now I gotta remember which town it is. It's not that one, obviously, so let's get back to my airship and fly away. These guys are paying me. Yeah, so yeah, guys, good morning. Yeah, so I gotta be up early today, guys. Gotta go and see my. Gotta do a few things today. I've got a few things planned for today. So this probably won't be as long as I would like it to be. I really want to get back into my full-on-time stream stuff. But lately, things keep coming up. One thing after another. And there's a good chance I won't be on tomorrow at all. No, that's not the town we want to go to, I don't think. Yeah, we've got to go to that town, but not yet. What's the other town I want to go to? I know where it is. It's up here. The one in the mountains, guys. I think this is the one I'm supposed to go to. Yep, this is the one. So Fairy gets out of its little bottle and flies away. While we're here, let's explore and see what we can buy. But yeah. I was hoping we could do it today, but as usual, every time I plan to do stuff, you know, something comes up. Which is really disappointing. I mean, it's really annoying. But there's not much I can do about it. At least I can do something, so... I was going to do like Minecraft earlier. I was going to do Minecraft, but it's just not going to happen now. I'll have to do that for the next video, which will probably be the day after. Tomorrow, but day after, because I'll probably go to my mates tonight, so... So yeah. So more than likely I'll go to my mates tonight, guys, because she'll probably need me. But yeah, that's not a big deal. Okay, let's do this. Oh, we need freedom. Oh, I need 1. I should probably get 2. Alright, let's see what they do. Okay, defense. Roses no defense. Oh, that's good for you. What do you get? Yep. Patient dropped a little. I will. Yeah, okay, fine. I'll put that on, but I'm not going to put anything else on. No, you're not needing nothing for you. Okay. Okay. And then we're just going to go back to the white mage and black mage. And 1, 2. Alright. We're done. Weapons now, guys. We've got to get some weapons. Obviously, cat claws. Oh, cat claws are good for him. I did not know that. Jesus, that's a big attack. Okay. Alright, so now we've got that sorted out. We've got the magic sorted out. Basically got everything in here sorted out. So let's go and do what we've got to do here. While we're here, we should probably make sure we got the items, because I don't want to go back out and then find out we don't have the items we need. Okay, we're fine. Good, we're fine now. Because yeah, guys, like I said, we are entering the end part of the game. A lot of the like bits and pieces that I need to do are already done. You're the ones who rescued me from that bottle. I'm sorry I ran away, but I was just so scared. I'll get the bottom to make up for it, okay? So yeah, she's got to give us this, basically it's like infinite air but underwater. Obviously we're going through the water crystal, so we're going to be in the water. Oh, by the way, guys, got my phone charging properly. So within 2 hours, it'll be 100%. So it's perfect. So I figured out what's going on. It's getting easier to charge as I clean more and more of it, but it's getting harder to clean because the problem is the dirt's further in. So I've got to get something to blow it out. Yeah, so hope you guys enjoy. Now we can do the water temple. I'm just gonna remember which way to go. Here. Yeah, so we're here, guys. Now we can go. Oh yeah, we've got the magic shop and shit in here too, so I should check them out. We didn't go here before. We went in, had a look, and left. Alright, so basically a shared thing. I want to make sure we got level 7. I don't know what level 8's going to be. Blind. Okay, that's quite easier. Yep, get that one. Now we're done. We're basically at full power. We're ready to go. We're ready to hit the temple, guys. See? Look at that, guys. Just need level 8s. I think level 8 only has 1. I don't even know what level 8 is. It's not in this town, I don't think. Yeah, no, not in this town. Actually, it doesn't even have a weapon shop. Let's go. Let's get the temple done, guys. My name's keep it on. You want to get out the way? All right, we're gonna talk to this little female. Oh, this yeah, Oxford. Yes, I do. You're the ones we've been waiting for. Please see the mermaids. Yes, ma'am. Yes. So we're going to go in the barrel and now we're going down to the water temple. Alright, we're here. Water temple will arrive. Now we'll start on the, I believe we're gonna start on this side. What's this side? I don't know. No, I'm gonna start on the right this time, because every time I start on the left, I end up being the boss too early. Alright, let's go for it. Oh yeah, we are extremely powerful. Oh yeah, he's definitely more powerful than he should be. Good. It's gonna make our life easier to get through here. Where is the first door? Over there. Once we go in there, we can work out where those chests are in here. But yeah, it's gonna be a very quick battle. We should be alright. Uh-huh. Yeah. Alright guys, we're gonna do this pretty easily. Alright, just scored. Alright, ready to go again. Yep, come on. Yep, technically yes. Yeah, so this is basically what our game is. Battling and making our way through the area. It shouldn't be this long. It's got 3 areas I've got to explore, so they're not short areas. Now, where's the last one? I think the last one's over here, isn't it? Yeah. Take care of that one. Let's go up. There's gonna be a lot of little caves. There's gonna be a lot of areas to go to, little areas to explore. I mean, secondly, guys, I could turn difficulty off and just fly through it like that. I'm not going to. That defeats the purpose of it. I mean, we're severely overpowered anyway, but that's not the point. Where are we gonna go anyway? Okay, that's the exit. Alright, the first one we're gonna go to is probably gonna be, yeah, up there. And then that one there. And then we'll make our way down there. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, cool. So the way we're gonna go is this way first. Bit by bit, guys, we'll get there. This shouldn't take longer than 30-40 minutes. The next one will probably take about the same time, and then the last one should take about the same time. Oh yeah, we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty well. I don't think these guys are going to be too threatening. Don't know why the hammer doesn't really do much. Either way, doesn't really matter, I guess. Now we're just going to make our way through here. Get our chest and get diamond arm. Oh boy, diamond arm is good. Not really useful for me, but mostly because I'm already overpowered here. I'm already level 40. Guys, when you beat this game, you technically should be around about level 50. Now we're already at level 40. Now we've still got a few more areas to deal with, so yeah, you get the hint. We'll just go for our battles, you know, do the stuff. I just wish these battle sequences were faster. I mean, instead of wasting so much time with the animation. But I do understand some people like the animation. I'm here to, you know, help, not to waste time with animations. Damn, I was hoping the other two would hit it. Alright, never mind. Not really hurting, are they? As much as I thought these guys would be. Even the white wizard's not getting hurt that much. And it's going to make things worse once as I level up. But yeah, it's not a very long area. It should be pretty damn quick. Now the next one's a longer one. Probably one, not the longest one. I think the longest one's the first stage. I'm pretty sure number 2. Number 4. Number 3 is pretty long. Number 4, sorry. But it's mostly because there's 2 areas to it, that's why it's long. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for today, guys. I've got the big thing today, that's why I won't be on probably tomorrow. I will try to put some Let's Plays. I'm behind in Let's Plays again as usual. It's hard to do them. I think a lot of it's motivation. So much stuff gets done. Alright, here we go. Doing very well, guys. I mean, not really complaining. Better heal up, though. There we go. That's it. Oh, a light axe. That's really useless to me, but hey, it's nice to have. It's really nice to have, guys. So yeah, this is generally the time I like to stream. Sometimes I'll do this first. I'm thinking of doing this first in Minecraft instead of the other way around because, yeah. I just like doing these for a longer period of time. I should do the shorter stream later in the day. But it is what it is. Oh, thanks for the likes, guys. I see all the love hearts, so I do appreciate it. I'm going to get there nice and easily. And now we can get to the last room and then we can get out this floor. We've got all the treasure. I'm hoping I'm going the right way. I don't know if I am, but I'm pretty sure I am. I'm pretty sure going upwards takes me to the mermaids. I could be wrong. It'll take me to the boss, but I'm pretty sure I'm going the right way this time. Usually my default direction is left, but I went right this time because I'm pretty sure that's the right way to go. Alright. Oh my god, we're right. We're here. There's no enemies in here, guys, so don't worry. Our prayers have been answered. Yes, they are. Or yes, they have, I should say. Gil, diamond element. Okay. We'll just grab everything in this room, and then we'll worry about the armor. If you'd like to see its life will return in. Okay. Yes, she is. She's fine. She told me to come here. Alright, get this one. Go down this way. Okay, we're getting there. Yes, ma'am. That's what we're doing. Alright, we're almost done here, I think. Yep. Yep, I thought so. Okay, we're just looking around at the moment. We're nearly there. Diamond shield, it's going to be useful too. As I said, there's no enemies in here. Alright, so I've got everything down here done. Alright, we'll go up. Look on the map. Go down left. Nope, go back down. Now we'll go this way. This way will take me to the other side. The other side's where the other areas are. Oh, just the one area looks like it. Huh, how did I miss that one? Alright, got that. Oh yeah, the restore stone. This is what we needed. What we need for the next area. Okay, how many... Oh, what other rooms is there I missed? I've got just that room next to me. Ah, looks like I went past it. But not other rooms. Look at it. Yep, good. So we're already partly there, guys. This is so quick, this one. I don't know why it's so fast. Is it that room? Yeah, it'll be that room right. No, let me think. Yeah, it'll be that room right there. So I'll just go down, turn on, go that way. There she is. It's like, yep, okay, yep. Heal and alright. Now let's acquire our shield. That's gonna help us out. Diamond. Already got that one, diamond. Alright, that's for my warrior. Warrior is ready to go. And now we're done in this area. As you can see, all the chests are open. Good, 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 good. Now we've got to go back. So the best way to do that is probably use our magic to teleport. Will take us back to the previous floor. And then we'll use teleport again. That'll take us back again. And so on. We'll just teleport all the way back to the main floor. Ah, we're back! So remember correctly, there's a chest in that room right there. So let's go and do it. And then we head to the Kraken. And that's it for this area. I should just... I think in the future, guys, when I just do games, I should just play them. And because... Here's the thing. I think of them much longer than they actually are. The only game that's actually longer than it is Minecraft. Other than that, all the others are nowhere near as long. Like, we're already almost halfway. We're probably going to be done in about 10 minutes. Maybe 15. So, yeah, we're pretty good. Once we're done here, we've got to go to the Mirage Tower. And that's the last crystal and then the boss. Now, if we don't beat the boss today, next video is probably going to be my Lord number 2. So I'll probably end up, you know, doing it like that. Now, let's go. Okay, is there anything in here at all? Nope, nothing in here at all I need to worry about. Okay, so I'll go straight up. Cool, at least this area is pretty straight. Pretty direct. We'll keep going, guys. We'll get there. A little bit easy at the moment, but hey, it is what it is. We're just making our way through the place. Now, experience level skyrocketing, so it's going to take forever for me to get the experience now. I don't even know what level we're on when it comes to experience. We're up to 42. Explains it. I mean, how many chests do we need? Well, so not many chests left. If I remember correctly, there's one more room that has a lot of chests, and then I think that's it. There's other rooms that obviously have chests, but not as many. Alright, are we there? Yeah, almost there now, guys. I think we're a few spots away. But other than that, we're doing good. We're doing really, really good. I'm pretty happy, guys. Again, my phone's finally fixing itself up. Now, I had to you really got to put the charger in when you want to get it to charge properly. But as long, when you put it down softly, it won't play up. You just gotta be patient and wait for it to charge. And it says about 2 hours, so time will finish here, which should be about 10:30, I'm guessing. Yeah, it should be fully charged, and I can ring my sis and see what's going on. See what she wants to do today. So work out the plans and times and shit like that, so we can figure it out. And then I'll get back to what I'm doing. My let's play, because I'm behind. I'm going to be behind the day today, guys. So if I'm behind, I'm always going to be behind the day. So yeah. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Look at that, guys. It's almost friggin' a quarter of the way there. I like when my phone charges properly. Yeah, I gotta go to one of each room. Oh god. Okay, every room's got. Okay. Now, which room did I just come from? Okay, going downwards. So obviously, the one that's going down would be there. So that's the one we got to go to. Okay. That's where we came from. Okay, we'll get the chest that's in here in a way. We'll get these, and then we'll look for the rest of the chest. But I'm pretty sure this is the last area of chest rooms. Most of the areas don't have a lot of chests, so yeah. Once we beat the fiend, we can move on. We can move on to the last fiend, and then we can move on to the end of the game. Okay, you, and you. I got things I don't really give a shit about, but we're gonna go down here now and get some stuff. I mean, technically, guys, I could be shifty and just put on no counters and just run around grabbing things. Maybe if we get closer to the end of the game, we don't have time to muck around. Maybe I might do it, but that's a big maybe though. Because technically, when I'm playing these under the banner of the Pixel Remastered, so it doesn't matter if I don't finish number 1. Let's say I just start number 2 tomorrow. I'll probably end up finishing number 1 and then moving to number 2. That's the plan in a way. I'm hoping it works out. As I said, guys, we've got some good things going on. I mean, it'd be nice if I could just, yeah. Like I said, today it's going to be one of those days, I think. Oh, god damn it. I hate monsters. Especially the weak ones. These are weak. I mean, you can tell you're weak when the weaker characters are doing a good amount of damage to you. Now, saying that, not strong enough to beat him, but noticeable. Okay. There's one over there, and then we're gonna go up there, and that's it, I think. Yeah. Alright. Let's get over there, make our way across. Now, original game, if I'm correct, and don't quote me on this, on the original one, you had the issue of mobs, random battles showing up every 5 seconds. I think they fixed that up in this one. This one, they're not showing up as nearly as much. While we're getting through it a bit quicker than normal. Unless you run into monsters in a chest, of course. Oh yeah, so yeah, we've done pretty good today, guys. I think we can do alright. I think we can probably beat it. As I said, mate, this shield probably. Yeah, I'm gonna give her a ring about 10:30 ish, because we're organised today, or what's left of today. So I like to do these things in the morning, because these mornings seem to do really well, actually. But afternoon does well too, so it's also another thing I gotta keep in mind. But bring him back. Where is it? Golden needle, isn't it? Yeah, stone. Okay. How many more chests? One more chest to go, guys. That means that's the last chest there. Great. Once we get the last chest, guys, we're going straight to the boss. Oops, I don't want to use it, damn it. we fight now? Let's do this. Oh. Okay, it's not gonna be fun. I hate it when there's a lot of enemies at once. They're annoying. Not so much enough to beat me, but enough to annoy me. Alright, now it's quick. The reason I like not having so many enemies at once, just to make it nice and quick, but sometimes you get a lot. You're also going to heal up. The way things are going, we'll be leveling up in a few minutes. Oh, light axe again. Now we've got all our items, okay? Let's make this clear. All our items are acquired, we can get the hell out of this place. And when I say get out of this place, I mean by beating the boss. I mean actually just leaving. That'll be silly. I wouldn't be surprised. Alright, let's go for it. Alright, so now we've got all of them. See? 32. Let's leave. Let's get out of this place and continue to the boss. Now I'm pretty sure the next room is actually where the boss is, or the one after it. I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure. He let us hit? Seriously, these guys are annoying. The sea scorpions are most as annoying as the normal scorpions. Actually, not as strong though, I'll be honest. They do hurt, but they're not hurting as much as you think they are. The only reason they're hurting the monk is because he's, oh, a black belt. Is because he's not very good in armor. And he always gets poisoned every 5 seconds. He's the most useless person we've got. Okay, let's go to the next one. This should be the, no, not the, not yet. Okay, we know this. Oh wait, or is this exit? Yep, the boss is right there in that room. That's our boss room. Okay. Let's go. So now we're entering the boss area, guys. Once we get to the boss, we can beat him and move on. Man, copy's terrible when you got no friggin' anything else in it. It's icky. Tastes like shit. I don't know what's going on in my body this morning. It's bloating up like a balloon. Alright, so we're nearly done. How long is this? Okay, a bit over half an hour. Yeah, it's about right. I'm going to do this. Once I do this, guys, and do my thing, I'm gonna probably do the Minecraft Let's Play for tomorrow. Get back to it. So I gotta get back to it, guys. I do enjoy doing it. I get in my own head, and with my body being my body, makes things very difficult. Now I'll be going to a good place today, so I had to go to bed early last night. I don't know what time my sis went, but I think she went to bed right after we talked, so she's a cool dude, I love hanging out with her. Like, if I had more, that's why. And yeah, I got told to talk and they're planning to do things with me behind my back. And I love my mates. They do. I know they are struggling at the moment. Even I am. But I won't be now, because after the next pay, I'll be starting to plan everything out. And then get back to work. And yeah, I'll keep doing this, guys. This is enjoyable for me. I enjoy it. Now, probably wondering why I don't set goals. I don't know yet. We might have to start setting goals. I'm just not really good at it. I'm thinking about doing in-game goals and things like that. Alright, we're nearly there. Yep. Well, basically there now. The boss is in here. So let's go and heal up. You know that. I've got so much crap in here. I really should go for this. Obviously, I'll obviously save because this is a dangerous area. 10 hours is not that long, realistically. All right, let's do it. Yeah, you humans do impress. I will not see you here. Yeah, but we're a bit more. Yeah, I think that Kraken. They already told me who you are. Now I'm gonna beat you normally. Bang, bang, bang. You use your Yep, that's hurting him. You, and you use your. Okay, one more, and then you use haste. I don't think it goes up too much, but it goes up enough for me to hurt him. And then I'll do the one under him. He'll do more damage. Now you use haste. Great. Yeah, no, it's gonna be annoying. Luckily for us, we're not really getting hurt. You hit, you hit, you hit, you heal my little dude. You got poisoned. Not poison, darkness. Yeah, darkness. Other than that, yeah, let's do one more haste on my main character, and then we move on. Seriously? I mean, that was only a few hits. It did barely scratch me. Look how little damage it did to me. I didn't even heal. Okay. Now we're going to the next boss now, guys. Look at that. In 14 minutes, we did a boss. Next one will take about the same time. I'm so happy, guys. Phone's charging ridiculously fast. We can just teleport out here now. We're done. Now we'll go back to a shop, heal up, you know, buy the potions, then yeah, do that. So that's that one, guys. Basically, pretty straightforward as you can see. And now we're going to the next one, basically. Almost the next one. We've got one place to go to. 2 places to go to, sorry. So as you can see, guys, I think having the levels a bit high make it a little bit too easy, to be honest. But it is what it is. I don't even have it up high. I have it in boost because instead of having 1x, it's 2x. That's it. That's all I've done. 2x. I knew it would make it like easier, but I didn't think it would make it so much easier. I was hoping it would just increase it a little bit, just to make it more of a straightforward you know, stream. But apparently, it's too straightforward. So I said, guys, I've got a contact. I got the best friend. Yeah. So yeah, that's all we've got to do now. We can get on my ship and we've got to fly to a new area. This area is no longer required at all. We don't need to be here at all. Now we're going to go back to the vampire village. I call it the vampire village. Right here, we've got to talk to someone. Because we've got something we need. Let's go talk to the fella. He's over here somewhere. There he is in a little... Hello, dude. Just a moment. Let me see that tablet. This is the return summon. It makes it possible to do... Okay, cool. Yes, of course. That's what... it makes sense now. Here, let me express my gratitude you by teaching you. So basically, it's a school teacher now. There you can. All right, now we've got to go to a village. Now we've got to get out of here. Now we've got to go to another town that has it. And it's a pain in the ass because it's a bit of a battle-y area. But it is what it is. So once we do that, we can go straight to the fortress and then kick some ass. So this is our next destination, but we've got to go somewhere else first. We've got to go to the village over here, wherever it is. Yeah, that village. But we can't do it easily. We have to go all the way up here, land here, and make our way down. I don't like doing that, but it is what it is. Okay, I don't think winter whoops. I don't know what the winter whoops doing in this area. Not very dangerous though. Pretty weak too. Guys, I am never having coffee by itself. Yuck. Tastes terrible. I hate when they attack first. Why can't I attack first? Or be even or something. Oh my god, even he. Oh my goodness gracious, even they can beat him. You know you're weak when you can get beaten by the wizards with their normal weapons. Not even using magic. Oh. Hopefully I can get in there before another enemy. So yeah, usually 2 or 3 enemies. Now let's go and talk. Okay, does this have any... Right, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it does. This is where a level 8 magic is, and that's it. Get out of the way, old man. Now, which one is he? I think it's this one over there, sitting in the corner by himself. Before you leave Legendary Ross, take this charm with you. It will grant you passage into the mission. Yeah. Now we can access the Mirage Tower and the fortress. But first, let's go and see my magic. Oh, goodness gracious. Why are you people in the way? Oh my god. This guy's the most annoying AI in the world. Yeah, so there's only one like of this spell, so there's no multiples at level 8, it's just the one. So yeah, that's about it. Okay, now we're basically a full blast of magic. We've got no more magic coolness. We've done what we need to do here. Now we've got to head to the Mirage Tower. So yeah, it's not too complicated. Once we beat the Mirage Tower, we've got to go back to another area. Well, you probably know which one it is because you watched the very first episode. The hint's there. I mean, I think I already gave you the hints when I said to you that we can't do anything here. We can't get all the chests at the moment. Oh yeah, good day guys. I hope you've all had a good day. Yep. Alright, up in here we go. Go over here. Let's make our way to the Mirage Tower and then we can finally get the last crystal done. Maybe even get the last area done. I don't know yet. Could probably get it done. Earthquake is gonna be... Of course. Earthquake instant death. I mean, I should have known. Earthquake should not be instant death, guys. There shouldn't be any instant death like abilities in this game. If we don't get to use them, why should I get to use it? Well, we do technically get to use it, but we're not that powerful. Alright, let's get going, guys. Now I don't even know where. Oh, where is it? I think it's right above me. Yeah, there it is. Go here. We'll get our little place out. We don't really care about everything else. I'm looking for something like my cottage. That's what I was looking for. I'll go in there. Taking me probably about 45 minutes, 45 minutes to do this. And then that's it. We're at the last area. So there's only 2 areas to go. Technically 2. Technically 3, depends how you want to look at it. Let's go. Now, this is one of those rooms where they put the chest in an out of the way place, but they're not too hard to deal with. Alright, yeah, they're not going to hurt us that much. Just machines. Right, what level? 45? Yeah, we're severely overpowered. But it is what it is. 10th, okay, well. Alright, cool. We can go in here, we go up this way. Shield. Heal. Alright, these guys, we can beat them pretty. Oh god, I hate when they flee. Actually, no, take it back. I don't hate when they flee. It means if they flee, it's easy for me. Defender, good. What about you? The shield doesn't really do anything to. Okay, yep. Yeah, probably use you and then. Wait, let's go. On the other side, guys, get the last 2 chests, and then we can teleport out. Is that all? No, god damn it! I always have one missing chest in here. Okay, let's go to the top one. Grab it, and then we can. I'll use teleport, and there's a reason I'll use. So he attacks me and runs. Oh my god, they're all running away from me. That's weird. I've never seen this happen so many times. I've seen them run, but not like constantly. Alright, get this last chest and then we can teleport. So remember, I think this is considered its own area. Yeah, so Mirage Tower is its own area. And what we can do now, instead of walking all the way back, we'll just use teleport. Teleport's the fastest way to do it. Of course, the other steps is right near the starting of this thing. Let's get back in there. And there's the steps over there. So you see why I do teleport? It's just easy to get back here. Now this one's a pain in the ass because you've got to go all the way around and mac around and all that bullshit. So yeah. First thing, we've got to make our way around. And then that's it, guys. Are we even an hour? Not really. Yeah. Let's go. I expected this to be a problem. Not really strong, so with them battery. Let go. I know I heard it bang something. Oh, there it is. So yeah, I don't know why, but battery falls out a lot. But I do know why. It's because it's got no hook. They've got like a little notch where it locks into place, but it's broken on my controller, so it doesn't lock in. I hope you get power life, dude. But either way, we're winning. I mean, yep, cool. Hello. Yeah, let's do this. Alrighty. Alright, oh boy, these don't look like fun. Don't look like they're strong, but they're annoying. Oh god, they're weak. Not that weak though. Oh goodness. There we go. Oh goodness. Alright, they are weak-ish. I knew there'd be chests in here. There's always freaking chests in this game. Yeah, raw ammo is actually really useful, guys. Because she's the weakest character, so we can use that as an item. Do you want to go down? I mean, it should take you down here. It does a little bit of damage. Not a ton, but more damage than she ever does. And the way things are going? Oh, Sunblade's going to be useful, I think. Sunblade. Accuracy is a little lower, but it's not a big deal. Oh, okay. Right, how many of them we got? Okay, we've got 18 out of 18. We're done with this place then. So we've just got to get up and then we can basically make our way around. Oh my god. Yeah, really powerful now. Yeah, we're all very powerful. Well, yeah, probably be at level 50 before we even get to the next area. Which is great, man. Makes my life easy. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, that should wipe out the birds at least. Yep. Man, the wizards are really doing a good amount of damage now. Now they're not too bad. Not great, but not bad. We can get out the way. So yeah, this is the last part of the tower. Now we're going to enter the flying part of it. Lightning won't do much damage to these guys, but no big deal. That does a little bit of damage to them, but it's not gonna murder them or anything. Man, he's really trying to murder my black ninja or black man, whatever he's called. What is he called? Technically? Oh, it's just called Master. Okay. Either way, he's trying to murder him. But you see, guys, we're going so well in this game. Doing so good. Yeah, I think we can. We're not even an hour into it, guys. All right, up we go. Now we're in the main part of it. The Flying Fortress. This will take probably about 23 minutes. So we've got a few areas. So we go up, we go down. We'll go down first. Down's probably quicker. Ah, black. If I remember correctly, these guys are hard, but I don't know because I don't get a chance to hit them. No, okay, not that hard. I thought they were a lot harder. A lot easier than I expected. Yep, right. I got magic. I'm gonna use teleport. Why am I using teleport? It saves me walking all the way back. I wish it wouldn't put me here though. And now we can just walk around, you know, a little bit. It takes a little bit longer, but technically it's shorter because you don't have to walk all the way back and out of the room and all that shit. That's why I do it this way. But yeah, we're doing pretty good. We're already on our way. I don't think this area has to take long. It's likely, but technically I think it's shorter than the other one we just did. And the reason it is because they consider the Mirage Tower and this as a stage. I know I'm going to run into enemies and shit like that. So here I can probably just walk back. Realistically, walking back's probably easier in a way. So I'm trying to gauge my friggin' team members. What time is it, guys? It's about 9 o'clock, so it's early in the morning still. The sun's just starting to get up. None of my sis should be still in bed. I've got to wake her up early. Not her. She probably won't even answer anyway, but hey, who knows? Oh yeah, she's got lots of plans for today, so... Alright, let's get going. See, as I said, not... Oh my god, they actually got someone. Not very powerful though, at all. But they can stone you. Not that often, but they do it. As you can see. Alright, how many have we done? We've done 10 already, so that's a good start. Nearly half already. Yeah, you're not that dangerous. Bye. I don't know why they bother sending me weaklings like that one. We're gonna make our way out. So we're probably... Now guys, we're probably about halfway through the whole episode thing. Yeah, probably about halfway, if that. I'm doing so well today. Next level, next floor. Okay, I'm gonna go. Oh boy, it's one of these fucking floors. Okay. We'll go to the one on the left because that's technically closer. Oh goodness great. How easy are these enemies? I mean, maybe I shouldn't change back around the levels, but I probably will in a way. If I get the chance to, why not? Make it slightly easier, but I didn't think it'll make it to a point where it's too easy, if you know what I mean. But hey, it is what it is, guys. If it's easy, it's easy. Great. Yeah, let's see what's going on. We're gonna go get one there, one there, one there. Oh, don't tell me there's one in all of them. Yep, there it is. There's one in everything. So we'll start going, we'll go downwards, and then we'll go back up. So we'll go to the next one, which is this one. Actually, maybe not as long as I expected. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not nearly as long as I expected. Look at that. 3 a freaking... A good charge done. Alright, got that one. Now we'll go to the one under it, which is something completely different, but it's something we can use. I hate it when you got rooms like this, where they're freaking annoying to navigate. If I'm correct, I don't believe there's a lot of rooms like this. This is probably the last room like this, actually. So yeah, we're doing well, just, yeah. These guys are harder than most of the enemies. Well, the ones we're into in a way, because they do have a bit more of a... They got a good defense. But other than that, they're not too bad. As I said, we've got... It takes about 2 to 3 enemies per area, so... There's a lot of these guys, though. Yep, magic. Oh, I end up top. Yep. Now we got rid of that one. We move on to the next one. We're getting there though. We're doing well. Alright, keep going. Alright, let's do it. Alright, we need this. Remember, guys, that dwarf village we went to the blacksmith and he said he needed certain material? This is the material he was talking about. Come on. It's just annoying me. There's so many more enemies than normal. We quit attacking him. You scum. Let's come back at guys. Yeah, here we go. Blackbird. Oh yeah, Blackbird in the water mode. That should really help us out. Nope. What would that do? Guard against instant death. Oh, how about you? Okay, not really useful at all. I thought it might have been, but no, not. Goodness gracious. This area takes like 10 minutes to do. Can you let me hit you? Thank you. Now it's our turn to hit back. I'm going to try and poison this, but they can't really poison anyone but him, because he's the only one with weak defense, so... Yeah. Even though he should be the easiest one, the one that avoids most of it, because his patience is much higher than everyone else's. That doesn't really matter too much, oh well. We're nearly done, guys. We've got 2 more little areas, and then we can get the hell out of this area. But there is another area, and then I think that's it. Why do you keep doing this to me? You're slowing the game down by giving me these status elements. Oh. Yeah, mine's not permanent. Good. Okay, a bit... Yeah, so still got a little bit to go. We're not quite there yet. I'm doing good. Okay, diamond shot good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight, guys. I'm gonna make sure I'm prepared tonight. I'm pretty good now. I'm full of energy and all that. I wish my stomach wasn't bloated for whatever reason. It's unusual because I don't usually get bloated, but I think I didn't do exercise this morning. The plan is to do some of it after I finish here. But I think I probably should do it before it. Normally I would, but yeah, I have to call people and all that shit. I don't want to do it on stream. So you get my hint. That's why I don't like literally doing things in the morning. Alright, let's get the hell out of here before anything else tries to murder me. There we go, we're doing some serious damage to him. Oh my god, he fled. The coward fled. How embarrassing. Next area. Yay guys, we did it. We finally got through that area. Okay, this is probably the last area. So we'll go up first. Of course, there's a monster here. Dark fighter. It's gonna be dark, alright. It's gonna be dead. Just one of you, so no threat to me. Wish my stomach will settle down though. That one. Okay, this is the last area for sure for chef. Okay, the bottom one's useless. So these two are useless, so don't go south. We just gotta go north, east and west. So yeah, that's good news for us. I don't know why it gives me so much of the same materials. Oh shit, there's a guardian, so he's stronger than the others. Not by much though. Alright, let's get going. So if I'm correct, I think we're near the end of this area too. So the last area won't take an hour. It'll take like 30-40 minutes most. I'll probably be done before. Yeah. Alright, we're doing good. We're doing very good actually. You know, I'm unhappy about one thing. There's not a lot of monsters in the chest. Actually, I don't think I ran into any. Yeah, it's not going to work on you. I knew it wouldn't be good on you, but it might be working on these guys. Oh, okay, no, you're not. Alright. Go back to my main queue. Do you have anything we can use? No. 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 Not really. Okay. We got 4 to go, and I think the last one on this side of the world. Yep, 4 over there. So let's get out of here. Actually, I could probably use transport. Teleport, sorry, not transport. Because it puts me right back in the middle of the area. So yeah, what we can do is we can just do this. Go near my little friend, go to this guy. I'm glad he doesn't have anything really useful in that one. So say he's been running around like an idiot. I can just go here and then go to the west side and get this out the way. I mean, I wish I did more of this yesterday, but then again, to be honest, I probably would have had to finish her. So yeah, it is what it is. I hate when he does this, and he does it to the strongest 2 characters, but they're not. Doesn't really matter anyway. They're gonna get killed. Don't stand a chance against the door. They're not very strong, so they didn't really have a chance. Sasuke play. I think that's the strongest one, isn't it? Nope. Never mind. Okay, let's go and fight the boss. That's where we're going now, guys. The boss room. There's nothing else here to collect. We'll go straight there and then we can get out of here. So I'll probably be done the boss in about 10 minutes. Yep, boss room in here. We go up 2 and we turn right. Okay. 1, 2. So I'm pretty impressed, guys. It's only 9:30. You've already done so much. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. I don't know why I'm doing this now. Oh wait, I'm gonna put this in save just in case you run into a certain enemy. Yeah. So about an hour, I'm gonna ring my friend. So I give and take. Gotta work out what we're doing today. Now she likes to sleep, so. Okay, we've got the boss now, and then we've got the final boss coming up, which unfortunately the final one's a bit of a long one. It's probably an hour, maybe 40 minutes. But it's not super long. Just certain parts of it are long. We're going to beat him up. Now let's get this done, guys. We can beat this dude, and we can move on to the last area of the game. And we can say, yay, we've beaten it. Streamed it and beaten the game. I am which map them. You have to create 3 things and reach my lonely perch. Or the better made image of tournament being of win be the last. Yeah, they're not gonna be that hard, okay? Let's be honest. The last boss wasn't that hard, so why is this guy gonna be any different? Okay, now it's gonna be annoying, so I gotta do this every freaking time. Alright, let's try using that on you and see what damage it does. Don't know what damage does, if any. Nope, done nothing. Why didn't that hurt? I mean, okay, I've got to heal. Okay. You heal now because we've got attacked this time. You, on the other hand, can just continue doing what you did. Everyone gets healed a bit. A lot, actually, I think. It's alright, lightning? Oh, lightning did even worse. Okay, lightning. Oh boy, thunderbolt. This before we can get temper. Okay, now we've got that on me. He should be more powerful. And now we can use heal again. And you can use temper on him again. Alright, and that's it. He's defeated. I didn't think it would take this long. I didn't think it would take long at all, actually, to be honest. It was pretty easy. And now that's the last crystal, guys. We've got one more thing to do and then we're done with the game. I'm so excited. Alright, the crystal's done, and now we're going to end this game, guys, by going to the boss. Now first, we gotta go. I've got to get out of here. It should take us back to the ground. And now we can head back to our ship, go to a town, heal up, and move on. And I know the perfect town to heal up on. Oh, these guys aren't that hard. None of these enemies are going to be a problem now. Now we can go straight to it. And beat the boss and then move on. And say the game's beaten. So the final boss is ironically near the very start of the game. When I say near the start of the game, it's technically the first area I went to. Go here, heal, we'll get our items, then we'll go and do it. It'll probably take an hour at most. We're ready to go. We're full powered. Now we've just got to restock our items and head over there. And that's it. We're done with the game. Potions. Yep, done. You. Done. You. I can better off buying all of you because I've got that much money. I don't know what to do with it. I really don't know what to do with half this stuff. Alright, let's go. And now we're going to the boss. Guys, the boss is ironically at the start of the first dungeon. Remember what I said earlier in the game, which we go look through here. So you go, it shows you based on what you got. So it's always the nil stuff in the first area. So the castle. You know, you're probably wondering why is this one only got 3 out of 13 when we know there's not that many chests in there. There's a secret. This is where we need to go. Everything else is done. Alright, let's go. Now, first thing we need to do is get those damn chests. Remember those 2 rooms I couldn't get into earlier? We got to get them done. Yeah, these guys are not even going to be noticeable. I don't know what's the point of even having enemies. You know what? I'm just going to turn the counters off for this area. I'm not wasting your time. Me fighting enemies that are not going to give me anything. I mean, I think you understand where I'm going with that. Yeah. But once we get to the next area, we'll turn it back on. With just those 2 chests, looks at it. So yeah, there's no point in me having like the fighting going on. That's not going to give me nothing here. At all. There's no benefit to me. Now, let's go to the area we need to go to. And turn enemies back on. Alright, let's go. Yes, this is where we're going to go, guys. With fully charged crystals, you'll focus a lot of your 4 shining crystals. Alright, now we're talking, guys. We're at the end of the game. I don't remember which way we're going to go, but I don't think it's that complicated. I think we'll go right first. Of course I get attacked. Oh my god, not these guys again. Why are they taking such a beating? And we shouldn't have to worry too much about anything else. Okay, we should be good. Yeah, I mean, technically, guys, I could run through this whole area with the encounters off. If we get short on time, I might do that, but other than that, why are they not dying so easily? Usually they do. Yeah, now the power. Yeah, now they're losing because they basically got no HP. Mm-hmm. If I think I'm going the wrong way, guys, the right way, I'm going to turn around. Oh yeah, I think we are going the right way. Yep, we are. We're going the right way, so I don't want to go the right way yet. So look at you. Look at that, guys. Basically a full blast. Oh, what's the point of doing that? I can just walk to the damn thing. It's right here. Okay, so that's the right way. I know that for a fact. So that means, what's this one go? Oh yeah, I'm pretty excited, guys. We're at the end. Finally at the end of the game, we can move on. So what? It didn't take 5. Usually when I do this game, it takes me 5 episodes. It took me 4 today. And technically it might have even been 3 if I didn't get interrupted last night. I'm gonna contact her soon enough. She's cool and like, not as much I'm excited to see her today. I'm very excited. Not in that way. Mostly. I mean, in the future I'm gonna be doing a lot more like things. I'm gonna start working on all my little projects, even though sometimes I get into my own head and I realize now that's not what I should be doing. I should be focusing on everything. So, man, once I do this, we do that conversation, I go Minecraft. I might do double Minecraft, make it up for the morning one, because why not? I might even do that for my Let's Plays as well. So it won't take me long to catch up. Not at all. Considering I'm thinking about doing one series in the morning, one series at night, so... yeah, so that's what's going to happen, guys. I'm excited. I'm very excited for the future. Where are we? I swear to God, if this is a dead end, this is a dead end. It's a dead end! You son of a beat! I went all the way around, guys, for a dead end. Oh well, let's go back. I went, oopsie, I don't know why I did that. It's where it puts you, it put me right next to it like that. Let's go back and continue the mission, get through the game, and beat the game. As I said, I want to beat this in about an hour or two, maybe even shorter than that if we can. Well, I hate these guys, they're so annoying, but you don't run into them too much further down the track. But yeah. Alright, let's go for the middle area. Alright, finally we're out of that area where they give me those damn, those black slime dudes. They're so annoying. I don't know why they made the most annoying slimes in the game with that colour, the dark colour. Really weird. I mean, it could have made any other colour. Black's not really a colour anyway, it's a shade. As everyone knows. Oh shit, we better hurry up. We are dying. I didn't even realise we're running out of health. We better hurry up and murder these guys. Alright, we've got them done. Look at that, 51. Now we're definitely overpowered. We are really overpowered. It doesn't matter to me. If we're overpowered, it means it'll be easier to beat the boss. So you know what? Let's just keep going. Keep pushing our way through it and we'll keep going. Nothing else more than that. So yeah, we are doing good today. I see I do have a consistent, a small group this morning. Normally, like I said, I've got to start doing them in the mornings. Mornings are going to be my best bet. I will do them at night time if I can't do them in the morning, and if I know I might get interrupted. I don't like getting interrupted when I'm streaming. But if it was anyone else, any of my other friends, I'll tell them to go and wait. You know, they can do it later. But yeah, she's my best friend. I think I'm gonna make sure I dress up today. You know, that may be my best clothing and stuff like that. So normally I wouldn't, but you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So I think sometimes it's nice. I mean, it'd be nicer if I had better clothes, but it's gonna take time for that to happen. Gotta figure out what I'm gonna wear. I bet he's playing the flute. Can I go now? Alrighty, now we're in the last group. Going to be in the last area now. So now we're going to go straight down, and that's where the bosses are. So we're in the reach of the bosses now. Well, now got to do all 4 bosses again, but they're all going to be dead easy. Even these guys are going to be pushovers. As we get stronger, guys, they're going to get weaker. Our levels keep going up, and they'll just continue getting weaker, and we should be able to destroy every enemy we run into pretty easily. Well, mostly. Yeah, so most of these 2 guys can smash them all. I mean, if I had like 2 warriors and 2 masters, we'll be completely overpowered. To a point. But you kind of we really do need a white mage at least. Or even a red mage would probably work too. Alright, let's get going. So yeah, I'm excited now, guys. I'm not even an hour, I say 30, 40 minutes at most. I've probably done a little bit past 10 o'clock. I'm so excited to get it done quickly. I didn't think we'll get this far this quickly. I thought we were going to take a lot longer. But hey, we'll get there. Next area is the fun part. Okay, we've still got more guys coming in. Of course he runs away. They're all going to run away from us. Yeah, it was severely overpowered. Even my black mage is strong. That's saying something. If you hear me saying my black mage is strong, it means you know you're in trouble. The only one that really gets hurt a lot is the master, because he doesn't have any real defense. Okay, so I'm going to go up, go around, and then... Oh yeah, this is the first area. The first boss is there. So we're already on the way. This will take about 5 minutes, if that. So yeah, I'm excited for today, guys. I'm so excited for today. But not even an hour left. I mean, be realistically. Alright. Alrighty. Alright, that's ready to go. Oh god, Gil. Maxed out my Gil. Goodness gracious. We're gonna destroy this guy. This guy's the first fiend. This guy does not stand a chance. Not against all of us. We can use that one. And we can also use temporary. He's got full power now. He's to death. He's going to die very quickly to that spell. Look how much magic we've got, guys. So powerful now. Alright, hopefully it won't take too many turns. I don't think it does. It takes a few minutes at most. Haste. And he's done. We've got to fight them all over again, guys. All four of them. So yeah. He's done. Bam. Now we have access to the next area. Next area is where we've got to start dealing with chests and shit like that. So we'll keep going. And we'll start doing that. There'll be a lot of fire enemies in here. Because, you know, it's a fire area, obviously. As you see, they do take a bit more damage, but yeah. Alright, let's go in here. Is there anything in here we need to worry about? No. There is chests. There's one chest there. There's one over here. There's also a big one all the way over there. And there's also another one down here. One of these pain in the ass levels. By a 5 or 10 minute level. I know, I'm basing it on time, okay? I mean, like I said, I want to get this done today. It's for about a while. So yeah, that's what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to beat the game today. I think we can do it. The sun's out now, guys. The sky's clearing up. I'm hoping it's going to be clear tonight because I don't want to wear my jacket. I want to show off a little bit, so I'm glad my sister has not watched this. Alright, there we go. And now we're heading this way. Oh, we're nearly there. I'm gonna get ready to go, guys. Got plans for today. Today's got plans. I've got to start doing them after this stream. Luckily for us, we're nearly at the end of the game. Actually, I thought this will take a lot longer, to be honest. I thought it would be... Yeah, so most of these areas are going to take a few minutes at most. I personally thought it would take a lot longer, so I was bitching about it, but you know what, I think I'm really overthinking it. But now we can get the last one. Oh boy, these dragons are going to be annoying. Ugh. Will you stop burning us? Oh, thank God. Good. Because he nearly murdered him. Let's see. Not so much me, it's mostly him. Alright, let's go, 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 go. No point fist-fighting around. I'm excited to beat this game today. So how far are we in? Okay, so it only takes a few minutes at most. Jesus, I'm really making it sound like it's long ass. Maybe I'm really are impatient. Yeah, we just gotta do the other side and then I'm done. How long did that take me? 5 minutes. Like 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes. How long? I wish I would stop burning this though. But yeah, I'm excited for today, guys. I wish I actually stayed up at 6 instead of 7. If I'd done that, this wouldn't be an issue. Oh yeah, we're pretty good. Alright, protect. I don't know why they keep giving me crappy items like that. It's really useless. But it is what it is. You're trying to flee? Oh my God, they're both try to run. Seriously? Oh boy, fire elemental, so annoying. I don't really run into them though. I mean, even in the original areas, they weren't that difficult. What do you think Force gonna do to me? Especially at this late stage of the game, it's not gonna do much at all. I'll probably run one more enemy and then I'll probably get what I want and get out of here. And then we can, yeah. I think the next one is the long one. It might be the one after it. I can't remember which one's. No, I think it's the one after it. Oh shit! You know what, guys? I forgot to get the a certain tool. Oh well, no big deal. Now I was supposed to go to Draw Village and get my bigger sword, but it don't matter now. It's not the biggest, and it doesn't really matter for the 100% part of the game because it doesn't add to it. So yeah. Yep. Alright guys, we're done in this area. Now, there's only really one more area that's a pain in the ass, and then that's it. Fantastic. We're here, and hopefully we can beat this guy pretty quickly. Let's go for it. We leveled up a few levels too, guys. A lot of levels, actually, so she shouldn't be too hard to do. No, lightning. Oh, you. Whoa, 800, that's a lot of damage. That's not, but hey. Oh, but I'll just see how she goes by herself without attacking. You can use... Alright, now we've got to heal. He does a lot of damage to it. Okay, you heal, everyone. And you just keep rising his attack. I don't think there's a limit to it. Eventually we'll get really strong. There we go. So yeah, you just keep adding it onto him and he'll just get so strong. So that's how you beat these guys. Just put it on him and bam. Now in the next area, we're up to an hour, 42 minutes. Shit. Okay, this area is not too complicated if I remember correctly. Actually, I don't think there's any chests in here at all. No, there isn't. We just got to get in and get out. Okay, how many chests? There's one left. God damn. So going that way, I've got to get down to this area. So we go up there, look up there, bam, bam, bam. Okay, we found the way. Alright, cool. Let's go. Oh boy, now so here's the water elemental. Take a few minutes at most. Yeah, we're going to be finished by 2 hours, if that. Depending on the final boss, and then I can prepare for today. And then we'll probably do the next one where we get a chance to do the next one, whenever that is. I don't know when we're going to do the next one. I don't. It might not be tomorrow, it might be the day after. I want to start taking more responsibility of my video creation stuff. Oh yeah, I'm doing pretty good today. I'm happy. I'm pretty good. It'd be nice if it weren't so many enemies. Stop with those enemies. I mean, why is there so many in a way? Oh my god, now they're using slow. It's alright, I think I can recorrect that. Man, they really don't like us, do they? They're using every single magic they can. Even though it's not going to work. Slowness only works one time, guys. Oh, that was really annoying. That was an annoying battle. I don't know why that was annoying, but it was. It was extremely annoying. Alright, see, this one won't be as hard. Alright, we're nearly there. We're so close to finishing this game. Do-da, do-da. We've still got 2 more fiends to deal with, but saying that, they're not that complicated. Especially this one, because there's no chest in this room at all. So it's easy to get to where I gotta go. Oh, not that, that's it. I'm just blasting these guys with lightning. No, I'm done with this bullshit again. I'm not doing it. I'd rather get it all done with one big lightning strike. Wipe them all out in one hit. We know how annoying they are. They can be. Alright, let's heal up again. Alright, either way. What was I looking for? Looking for something. Oh, right. High potions. Yeah, kind of running out of high potions here. Oh, you should be alright. We'll save just in case. It's very unlikely, but you see our levels are extremely high, so we should be pretty well. Alright, he can be pretty powerful. I will use healer, but I don't want to use this one. That's one's useless. I think this one's probably best bet. Yeah, just keep doing it and then she'll get strong. Alright. Man, we're getting stronger by the second, aren't we? Alright, we're going to use it one more time and we'll use haste after that. Man, really, it's not getting stronger. Why isn't it getting stronger? It should be. Oh, you heal again. Now your magic's done, so I can just use haste on him. Alright, he's done. Next one's up, guys. That was an easy battle. Easy-ish. Now, the final chest is in here. We'll get that chest. And that is it. We're done with the game, basically. So let's go and grab it. I know what silence does exactly, but it doesn't look like it does anything spectacular. Alright, that's it. It's done. Not very hard at all. Might be a good idea to heal them up. Okay, I'm going to start using my other potions because my main potion's starting to run out. This will probably run out pretty quickly too, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, we're good. Alright, we're nearly there, guys. There's the next area. I don't know why that did not hurt. That did though. I don't know why. Oh, the iron. Okay, that's probably why. Iron probably not good against them. Alright. Let's go. Bam, bam, bam. The room we're going to go in to get the last sword is in here, and then we can do this. Yep, okay. Not even 20 minutes, guys. That's the strongest sword in the game, I believe. Yeah. You know what I'm going to do, don't you, guys? You know exactly what I'm going to do. There's no point running all the way back. Fast travel back, and then I can do this, and then we can beat the boss. Alright. Basically, yeah. Saves me running around. I mean... And then we beat the big boss, and then that's it. It's game over. Let's see. Oh, goodness gracious. Alright, let's do this. Get this ready. Alright, let's do this, guys. We get this boss battle out the way, then we move on to the big boss and we're done. But first, I want to do something else. I'm going to go to items. Let's find out. Where is it? It might be at the bottom somewhere actually, because I did get it a bit late in the game. What's that? Okay. Perfect. I still want to get... Okay, okay, this one. Perfect, let's go. And then the boss. So yeah. Fourth blizzard, all of us, yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Alright, he's getting strong too. He's pretty strong, it's what. Yeah, so we're doing good, guys. Oh boy. Now we're getting it. Alright, you. Goodness gracious, he's actually stronger than the others are. Maybe I just get rising my attacks bit by bit, even though it takes half a day. Alright, he's defeated. Alright, so that's one. Now we've got the final boss and we're done with the game, finally. Alright, let's do it. Where are we anyway? Yeah, the boss is in there if I'm correct. If I'm correct, I'm pretty sure. I don't even know why there's like enemies here. I mean, they don't need to be. Yeah. Alright, let's do this. First I want to get the certain things ready. I gotta talk to a friend in a minute. Alright, good. That's done. Alright, now we'll just heal up our items. Use our items to heal. And that's it. Basically the end of the game. I'm surprised we actually made it this far. I'm just surprised I made it this far this quickly. Alright. Do you remember me? I was once the most renowned knight of Canaria. Yep. And you came back to life 2,000 years ago, and now you killed me. I included. Oh, you defeated me then. But the great force to save me by sending me back through time. Once here, I sent the 4 fiends to the future. Why I shall want to use that 4 great power to send me back into the past. Yeah, chaos. Let's battle this dude. Oh, we're going to... Okay, let's do this. This is it, guys, the big boss. It'll take about 5 minutes to do this guy. He's pretty tough, I'm not going to lie. Let's see if we can use magic on defenses. Use you. We can use your temper on this character. I think this character probably a better one to use, as long as it doesn't die in one hit. Alright, that's our physical attacks, I believe. That one. That one. You can heal us up. Or I need to use full blast as well. You can use temper on him. Good, use it on him. Go for him. It should be alright, guys, as long as we stay healthy. Ah, 1300's doing a good amount of damage. That's great news for us. What else is there we can use to help us out? We've already used protect. There's nothing else really here to use. Alright, do that one, and then we can use you again for... Oh, okay, that time it didn't really hurt. Oh, of course, it misses everyone but him. Alright, now we'll use... attack, attack, heal everyone including my main character. Now use template on him. Of course we go for him. Whoa! Controller fell out again, guys. Alright, let's keep going. Now we can use it on him, hopefully that will work. But he needs more health. Well, actually, the only one who really needs health is him. So I'm just going to use magic on him. Now we're going to use haste on him. Good, now we should be okay as long as we don't run out of magic completely. Oh boy, it's gonna hurt him. I might kill him all, but it will hurt him. Alright. Attack, attack. We use that again. Come on, guys, we can win this. We can win this. We're not dying. We're not even remotely dead yet. Haste. Alright. There's gonna be a problem hit. Alright, he's really getting... Alright, now he's super powerful, there's no point here. Okay, so I'm going to use haste on my main character now, because he looks like the one who really needs it. Come on guys, we can beat this guy. We're not even really getting hurt that much. We're just too powerful for him at the moment. And the way things are going, I'm going to beat him really quickly. Yep, okay, ready to go, ready to go. I don't... yeah, guys, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win. You got him? He's done. We finished. Good, because I gotta bring my sis in a minute. It's just a little bit past. Yep, about 20 past. Yeah, it was easy as because our levels are a lot higher than they need to be. That's it, guys. We won. The game's over. Alright. Let's get ready to do it today, guys. Alright, let's do this. So the time we was separate at last, the endless struggle, blah blah blah. Yeah, we get the message. So you get the idea, guys. But we ended up beating it. I can't believe we actually beat it. About 12? Was it? A bit over 12. The endless struggle that raged over 2,000 years has ended in peace. Blah 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 blah. Okay. So monsters start showing up and all that kind of stuff, yep. Cool, guys. We're done. We're done. We're done. Yeah. Guys, so we're done with the game. I don't think we really need to go through this, do we? Yeah, so basically it just explains what's happened now. So we're beating the game. We've got basically everything, except for one little small thing I forgot to get. But it's not mandatory. I have to give my sister a ring, guys, because it's early in the morning. It's not that early. But for her, it's probably early. I have to ring her up. Anyway, guys, you get the idea. So we're going to start playing Final Fantasy 2 on the next stream. Now, I don't know if that's tomorrow or the day after. It's probably going to be the day after. It depends how things go, guys. On that note, cheers. Okay. Boom. Okay. 2 new subscribers. Great. Same thing.